Alright, what's up guys? This is kind of late on a Saturday night, so I don't know if I'll get this done tonight or if I'll be putting it up tomorrow, but this is the newly arrived Nitro V or XV3 series display. This is not the super expensive like $1,800 version, but this is the it's around 750, 760 bucks, which is still plenty, but and instead of like being G-Sync, it's G-Sync compatible, so it's a FreeSync monitor, which now works with G-Sync because NVIDIA started supporting that. But we've got this is a 4K display, of course. It's only HDR 400 instead of HDR 1000. The new, like I say, the $1,800-ish ones are the more expensive, but they're HDR 1000. This is 400, but I have tested other displays with HDR 400 and they look pretty good, so it's not bad. Let's see, we've got 1 millisecond visual response boost. This is a 144 hertz overclock, although I know I've seen on different forums and so forth, like if you want to run HDR and FreeSync, and like you can't run it maybe at 144 hertz without like turning down some of the color settings a little bit. So that'll be something I have to play with and figure out. Let's see, it's IPS display, uses the DCI P3 color spectrum and Delta E less than 1. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I guess I should look into that. But it's 27-inch. I know it's quantum dot, or like Samsung's QLED, basically quantum dot backlighting technology is used in this display. And supposedly these things are pretty freaking awesome. Like I say, it just isn't the G-Sync certified / 1,000 nits of brightness, because that's like another $1,000 for, I don't know if you want to call it marginal gain. I guess I'd have to see the two of them side by side to see if they were really, if there was a huge difference or not. But give me a second here. I'm going to open up this box. We'll start seeing what's in it, and hopefully there's no dead pixels. Be right back. So the first thing we find when we open the box is, now AC just kicked on, so sorry about that, but it's been very warm, so it's going to run. This is the monitor shading hood installation guide. It comes with this exterior hood that mounts around the display to keep light off of the screen, from exterior sources, allowing you to get, it's less interference from the room itself. But this is all the little plates that go around it to shroud the display. That's the first thing you find when you open the box. And we've got our little color calibration report that all these things come with. Cool. Looks like we've got probably a warranty guide or something along those lines, or a setup manual or something like that. Limited warranty agreement. There you go. They might both be in there. Sorry about that. Working with one hand as usual. Got us a display port cable. Very nice. Looks like this is another display port cable. I'm not sure why we need two, but okay. And a power cable. Pretty standard. This looks like maybe some mounting hardware or something in here. Yeah, I'm guessing this might, I don't know if this is required for the standard or not that comes with it. This might be so you can convert it and then mount it with like more of a standard like desktop base mounting arm kind of thing. I don't know yet what that's for, but that's my guess. Looks like it has some kind of a power brick. A lot of these Acers have stuff like that. Give me 1 second and I'll get this thing out of the box, get all this styrofoam out of the way, that kind of stuff. Give me 1 minute. Alright, so surprisingly, it looks like it comes pre-assembled. Like I took it out of the box and there was, it's already on the stand, which looks like it can come up and down, and I didn't have to attach it or anything. It was just in the box like that. One other cable it came with was a USB 3.0 hub cable. So that was the other thing that was in the box I didn't see earlier. But that was about it. Yeah. Okay, so we got our little sticker they always have on these things here. Show you all the little features. Go ahead and take that off. And I guess we're pretty much, I don't know if this is on top here. It's some kind of, it's like a sensor or something. I think these things have some kind of like an ambient light sensor, so they can tell how dark it is in a room and decide like if they want to, I think it's probably a setting in the monitor's OSD somewhere, like like dynamic lighting or something like that. But I think it can tell how bright or dark it is in the room, and then react accordingly, and like change the brightness of the display to what it perceives the room needs. But from what I remember reading in the forums, like, it doesn't really work that good, and people were just shutting it off. But I think that's what that is. So I guess the next thing to do is to hook it up to my machine and see what features are available in the on-screen display. Be right back. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to end up doing is taking this thing off and putting it on a different mounting arm that I have, because the foot on it, as you can see, doesn't really offer much stability depending on what you get it resting on. So we've got like these long, thin feet, but the stand I have it on, or like I'm basically just sitting on top of one of my computers in the living room. It's how I had one of my other, the previous monitor I was using, and this thing was about to slide off and fall on the floor. So the way to get this thing off here is, like, there's these two plates that fix to this, and you just pry them off. They come off with just by using your fingers real easily. It looks like it has a pair of DisplayPort connections and 2 HDMI connections, which is sort of strange since they didn't include an HDMI cable. They just gave me 2 DP cables. That might have been a goof in the box. I don't know. I have extra HDMI cables, so I don't care, but I'm just pointing it out. It's sort of weird. But I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to mount it on a different desktop stand that I've got. I've got it sitting over here somewhere. Here it is. This is the one I was using with my John Will touchscreen for a while. This should work with this, and it's a much bigger footprint, so it shouldn't be unstable sitting where it was. So I'm going to do that. That'll just take me a minute, and then we can go set it up and try it out. I just wanted to point that out to people. Depending on where you have it sitting, it could be unstable with the included stand. So I'll be right back. Okay, so it's up and running, and it's I don't see any dead pixels or anything. Apparently, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it probably is, from what I'm reading, to enable full 4K at 144 Hertz, you have to use dual DisplayPort cables, or maybe 2 HDMIs. Either or probably works. I don't know, but that's what I've read in the reviews. The manual that came with the monitor is useless and doesn't tell you how to enable it at all. It's a setting in the OSD that you can turn on or off to enable 4K 144 Hertz, but it doesn't do anything. I go into the NVIDIA control panel, and I'm always presented only with the option for 120. I played around with like the color depth settings and set it to like like the defaults of 8-bit, or even turn it down to like 4x2x2 or 4x2x0. You can't enable 144 Hertz. It's not even an option. So I'm assuming you probably have to do the 2 cable route. I'm not screwing with that right now. I'll look into it further. It's not really that big of a deal. The 120 is fun. Honest to God, like, I'm not going to push like a steady 120 Hertz anyway at 4K, let alone 144 for the most part, depending on the game, of course. But it's one of those things like, yeah, okay, 120 versus 140. You can't tell them apart by looking at them anyway, so who cares? And as far as the functionality goes, I just really wanted something 4K and like 100 Hertz or better. So this will still meet my needs just fine. It's just I can't get it to enable what they say it supposedly does. As far as things like backlight bleed goes, you probably won't be able to tell by looking at it. I would say, like, when it first comes on and you have like a black background image. Let me see if I can find something that we could look at. Typing with one hand here, Yeah, let's see if they've got something we could fire up. I could show you kind of what the background looks like. Let's save that one, because there is some backlight bleed, but it's not bad. Like, realistically, shit, it's pretty tiny, isn't it? Damn it. Well, that's not helpful. Alright, 1 second. I'll find something. Alright, so I found a black background. But the phone always makes it look like it's worse than it is. Like, I've noticed that whenever I've bought or sold monitors on, like, Craigslist, for example, and it'll look awful in the picture, and you see it in real life, and it's like, okay, you can't really tell. Like, people are trying to say it's like a horrible backlight bleed. This corner's fine. This corner's fine. There's a little bit right here, a little bit there. here it's sort of pronounced, a little over here, but almost none, and nothing in this corner. So, I mean, other than this part right here is the only part I would really gripe about, and it's not enough that I'm going to send it back. You know, in a game or whatever, you're probably not going to really notice it. So I don't think the backlight is a big deal with this particular display, at least the one I received. I'm sure everybody gets a different one. You know, you could get a bad one, but and it's IPS, so it's more prone to it than like a VA panel would be. VA panels don't really have backlight bleed issues anywhere near as bad, if at all, compared to IPS. So you know, it's not gonna be a big deal. I'm gonna load up. Like I've been playing Anthem. I did a video about that last. I know a lot of people have been ragging on it, and kind of rightly so. But it's sort of a fun game anyway. I like that style of game. I never liked shooters before, but I kind of like the third-person shooter, and I like the suits, and the environment's very cool to explore. Even though the game has got some issues, bugs and network connectivity problems it seems to have, but it's pretty fun. So give me a minute here. I'm going to load that up, and we'll just see how smooth it can run in 4K with the ability to go above, you know, 60 frames a second. So it'll be 1 minute. Alright, instead of Anthem, I opted for the Forest. Anthem just doesn't utilize SLI or the shit, so it's like you're getting like 30 to 40% utilization per GPU, and so it's like you might as well just be running with a single card because of the same, you get like the same frame rate. So it's like you can't really get utilize, you know, you can't really use the extra refresh rate that well in that particular game. But in here, like, I don't know how well this is translating, this little time lag or whatever, but the frame rate is sitting around the 120 range, which is what the monitor supports anyway. And this is with FreeSync enabled. With it off, it'd probably be a little bit higher. But no tears. Frame rate sitting above 100 as I move around. The lowest it's gotten to is like 104, 108, something like that. And yeah. Of course, holding the phone with one hand and playing the game with just the mouse, so I can't really move around, but you get the idea. It's working. Looks really nice on here. Really good display quality. I don't know how well that translates to this video. It's only going to do as well as oh, that shadow is creeping up on me there. But I was going to say it only does as well as the, you know, the display you're watching it on. But suffice to say, it looks pretty good. Everything runs pretty nice in here. Looks pretty decent. I'd like to play with HDR on it, so I guess I should do that and find something where it actually works, where it won't crash. I can try loading something up here that'll utilize it. Give me 1 second to find something. So something I just found out that's kind of interesting is it's got an ambient light setting. You may think that's cool or think it's stupid, but you can see it's red under there right now. There's a setting in the display that'll let you cycle through different colors or like different patterns, like you can have fixed, or you can have it do like flashing or whatever. So that's kind of neat. Like if you needed a light for your desk or something, like in a dark room otherwise, you know, you'd have a way to light it up and pick what color that maybe goes with your system or something. So that's kind of neat that it lets you do that. I'll go through the settings real quick while we're here just so you guys can see it. One thing I don't like, there's like this toggle, like almost like a joystick is what you use back here to control this. I don't like it. It seems like it's a little bit quick to make selections for you almost by accident. But we've got, you know, your brightness, contrast, black, boost. See, it doesn't stay open very long either. That's annoying. Hold on. Alright, that should keep it open longer. Okay. ACM, not sure what that is. HDR, if you use HDR, FreeSync won't work. That's the one limitation about this monitor. Like I was saying, if you want to pay another $1,000 and get the full 1000 brightness nits and get G-Sync plus HDR, which again, this thing is shit, won't let you keep it open very long. You can do that, but otherwise you kind of have to choose what setting you get. So right now I'm going to have FreeSync on and HDR off. Anthem supports HDR, but I've had some crashes with it enabled, so I'm pretty sure that HDR causes the driver to crash in that game. Like I said, it is a bit of a buggy game, so it has some issues. You get like a DXGI device removal crash error, and it seems like I only have that when I'm running it with HDR on. So there you have that. Let me see. Alright, so you get the idea. Super sharpness, light the light sensor is what I was talking about on top of the monitor we looked at earlier. Color palette. Audio. The speakers in this thing, on this monitor, are pretty awful, but you would expect that. You got a FreeSync setting. Overdrive, I think, is only available if FreeSync is off. Refresh rate number just puts like a number in the upper right corner as to what refresh rate the monitor is currently selecting. Oh my god. It only gives you like 10 seconds to futz with it. Jeez. Sorry. VRB is that variable, I forget what it stood for, but it lets you get like a higher refresh or response time. Aim point puts like a little crosshairs in the center of the display. This lets you select your language and like OSD settings. Pretty much not really useful. Here you can, well, I guess it's useful if you don't speak English. Pick your input or auto source. This is a DisplayPort 1.4 panel. Change like wide mode, full. It says aspect ratio 1:1. 21:9, maybe back to full. Ambient light, like I was saying, you can screw with the style of the color, brightness, so red, green, blue, white, etc. I don't really care. Cool. Okay, so we got our settings now. I'm going to go ahead and load up Anthem here in a second and see how that works. I just wanted to show you guys the settings real quick that you can play with. Be right back. Alright, I loaded up Resident Evil 7 since HDR works in that. But I gotta say, man, the backlight bleed is a little bit more noticeable than I was originally thinking. Now again, it looks worse on the phone than it does in real life, so don't think that that's, you know, like what you're seeing necessarily through the recording is accurate. It's not really noticeable in the bottom right, not really noticeable in the bottom left. Upper right's not bad, except for like this one little area right here. You can kind of see it probably, but here it's pretty bad. Like again, this is a really dark section of a game, so you can kind of get a pretty good idea of how it looks. Now the frame rate's not bad at 90 plus, and it's pretty good and smooth. This game doesn't seem to support SLI, so that's with one card. It's actually sitting over 100 right now, so it's still doing pretty well. But anyways, yeah, I'll have to think about whether I want to try to send it back and get a different one. That's a lot of IPS glow in that corner. That's not real cool. But you know, it's a much cheaper option again than going for. This is no excuse for the IPS glow, but just in general, it is certainly a less expensive option than going with the like the $1,800 version with G-Sync and HDR 1000. This is HDR 400, and like I say, it looks pretty good. It's just that corner, like I say, it has a bit of IPS bleed. I'm not sure if there's any way to fix that, or if you just have to send it back. I'm gonna look and see if there's any solutions that, you know, online or whatever, to like fiddling around with it and maybe making a correction to it if it can be fixed. But anyways, appreciate everybody watching the video. This is something I've been wanting for a while, this particular monitor. So like I said, I don't know if I want to try to send it back or not. It's kind of a pain in the neck, but I'll see if there's a way to fix that IPS bleed. But thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, ask in the comment section below, and I will be sure to answer just as soon as humanly possible. Thanks, and have a great weekend. Later.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.